Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Life Institute's annual general meeting. This webinar is being recorded. As an attendee, you are in listen and watch mode. Only the audio and video of the webinar hosts, presenting directors, and guest speakers will be audible and viewable. Live transcript via an automated bot has been enabled for our members who rely on this assistive technology. However, if you find it a distraction, you can disable it by hovering over the closed captioning icon and selecting Hide Subtitles. Although we have members joining us from all over North America, I would like to pay my respects to the Indigenous peoples, elders, and ancestors who stewarded and cared for the nature and people who lived on the land where Ryerson University, the Chang School, and the Life Institute are located today. I acknowledge the traditional territory and Indigenous heritage, which dates back over 10,000 years, and that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13, signed with the Mississaugas of the Credit, and the Williams Treaty, signed with multiple Mississaugas and Chippewa bands. At the Life Institute and Ryerson, we have made a deep and long-lasting commitment to truth and reconciliation. And we invite you to learn more about this work online and in person next time we can get together on campus, which I hope will be soon. Early last week, Life Institute members were asked to please submit all questions, comments, and concerns about the AGM material posted on the Life's website prior to noon on Friday, December 3rd. The questions and comments received will be addressed during this meeting. Motions will be passed at this AGM. The presenter will ask members for a motion to approve and subsequently for a member to second. We need a majority to pass the motions. Please type in the chat, I move or I second. Your name will be visible. Only one member is required for each of these actions. I will read the name out loud as the member who has moved or seconded the motion by stating, let the record show that so-and-so has moved or seconded the motion. Next, a poll will appear on your screen. Depending on the device with which you joined this meeting, please use your mouse or touch screen to select accept, reject, or abstain. After approximately 10 seconds, the poll will close and voting results will display on your screen. All members are asked to vote in these polls. Finally, depending on the device with which you joined this meeting, some of you will be seeing the poll results screen disappear when it is closed by the Zoom host. On other displays, you may need to close the poll result box yourself in order to see the slide presentation and speaker. Milvie?
All right, welcome everyone. I am Milvie Esther and Chair of the Board of Directors for the Life Institute. I want to welcome you all to this year's annual general meeting, which should last about an hour. And of course, being held virtually, obviously for the safety of all of us and to support the social distancing requirements. So thank you all for joining us. Now, before we get started into the formal part of the AGM, I'll introduce Dr. Paula Green, who is going to provide some remarks from the Chang School, our partner at Ryerson University. If you can go to the next slide, you can see that Dr. Green has a very long list of accomplishments in her career in the academia world, and she also is our current new board representative as an ex officio representing Ryerson University. So without further ado, Paula, you'd like to give a few words to the members.
Thank you, Melvie, and good evening to everyone. I'm pleased to be here representing the Chang School this evening. Due to a scheduling conflict, our dean, Dr. Gary Hepburn, was unable to be here himself. Gary wanted me to extend his best wishes for a productive and successful event. At the Chang School, we are very proud of our relationship with the Life Institute. We share a common goal of providing exceptional programming, continuous learning at any age. But our 50+ Life Institute collaboration brings particular focus and attention to issues of aging. Lifelong learning during this third age has become critical to healthy aging. Yet we have remained challenged. Over the last 20+ months, the pandemic has taught us how to be agile and resilient. We have embraced technology, and at the same time, we've craved for more in-person engagement. As issues of public and personal health take center stage, we have adapted and adjusted our life, work, and learning environments. We remain hopeful, though, that in 2022, we will offer more opportunities for in-person learning as we take a more measured approach, a gradual return to the campus beginning in winter 2022. There is still lots of work to be done. The pandemic has also given more exposure to many existing inequities. It has challenged us to take action and to act and to take corrective action. Our relationship with our Indigenous communities is one poignant example. As such, our university remains committed to the values of equity, diversity, and inclusion. We have commissioned a number of task forces that have resulted in reviews and reports that we are intentionally acting upon. The most recent of such initiatives have been the Anti-Black Racism Campus Climate Review and the Standing Strong Committee Task Force. This task force was established to address the legacy of Egerton Ryerson. The task force made 22 recommendations, one of which is to rename the university. A 3-week-long community consultation process began on November 16th and concluded last evening, December 7th. Over 1,500 survey responses, hundreds of email submissions and letters have been received as part of this process. We hope that Life Institute members who wanted to participate in these consultations had an opportunity to engage. This feedback will guide the shortlisted recommendations that will be presented to the university's Board of Governors, who will select a new name before or by the end of the academic year, April 2022. Finally, I would like to highlight many of the numerous successful collaborations between the 50+ program at the Chang School and the Life Institute throughout 2021. We had record attendance and participation in these events, all aimed at expanding our intellect on a wide variety of issues and current events. We're certainly looking forward to many more of these opportunities, as well as expanding our partnership with the Life Institute. I wish you an engaging and productive AGM, and thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to make a few remarks to you this evening.
Okay, thank you, Paula. Great to have you join us. Okay, so now I'd like to officially call the Life Institute's AGM meeting to order. And I trust you have all had a chance to review the documents that were prepared for this meeting, which were distributed and are on Life's website. Our quorum requirement is 50 members, and I can report that we've received 20 proxies and 74 members registered for this webinar. All members who registered but who are not in attendance today, their registrations now serve as proxies per the guidelines and permissions described at the time of completing the online form. Therefore, quorum is met. We have the business agenda up, so please review this agenda. There were no amendments received by any emails as requested. So may I have a motion to approve the agenda as is? Oh.
Sorry about that. Let the record show that Patrick Grew has approved the agenda as is.
Thanks, Roseanne. And can I have a seconder for the motion, please?
Let the record show that Dennis Bacchus has seconded the motion.
Right, and now I'd ask that all members please vote on approving the motion. All right,
We have received enough votes to pass the motion.
okay, thank you. So I say it's not the majority, 100% have approved, so therefore the motion is passed. Thank you. I like this voting thing. All right, so next we have the approval for the AGM minutes, which were sent to all members in advance of this meeting. And again, there were no questions or comments or corrections sent in as requested. Now may I have a motion to approve the 2020-21 AGM minutes, please?
Please type in,
There we go.
let the record show that Martha Wall has approved the 2020-2021 AGM minutes.
Okay, thank you. And may I have a seconder for the motion for the minutes approval?
Let the record show that Francis Wilkinson has seconded the motion.
Okay, and again, please, all members, please vote for approval of the last year's AGM minutes.
We have received a sufficient number of votes to pass the motion.
Okay, thank you. So the majority have approved, therefore, the motion for approval of last year's minutes is passed. Thank you. All right, so next, I will give you a brief report on our activities and upcoming events. So as I reflected on the last year of our ongoing turmoil and uncertainty during my second year as Life Institute's chair, I'm proud to say that we continue to thrive and successfully deliver quality virtual learning experience to members, and also engage in a number of new projects for the future while maintaining financial stability. While it has not been an easy year for any of us, one that forced us to pivot in our efforts, it has also allowed us to gain new insights into member learning interests, operational effectiveness, and managing change in how we work with each other. Long-term trends that will allow us to plan for the future. This, of course, would not be possible without the hard work and perseverance of the staff, who are our frontline workers, and the many volunteers, both individually and collectively, who have contributed their time and skills to improve and sustain our organization under the energetic and compassionate leadership of our Executive Director, Deborah Bonk Greenwood. Can I have the next slide, please? And the next one. And I really want to give my most heartfelt gratitude to all of the board members. They are a great group of people to work with, even though it's all still going on Zoom. But I do want to thank them for their ongoing leadership, energy, and optimism. No, we have not seen this boardroom, so we had to do it virtually. Okay, next slide, please. So the Board of Directors is tasked with governing and providing oversight for the performance of the Life Institute to further its mission and goals. Our work continues to be guided by our 2019-2022 three-year strategic plan, which is in its second year. And of course, it is built around the 5 pillars. I'm just going to give some highlights of what we've gone through this year in some of these areas. So in the area of quality programming, a number of high caliber lectures and events continue to be delivered via Zoom. You'll hear a lot more about some of the successes in that when Debbie does her report as well. And in the area of membership engagement, although understandably membership is declining, the core satisfaction scores remain high. Thirdly, in organization and the financial management, Life's balance sheet continues to remain strong, and we continue to focus on investments to encourage continuing memberships, attract highly qualified instructors, and to support the operational needs, particularly for the staff and any technology support required. And on partnerships, we've had great successes in this area. And I believe that we have Michael Nissen, who is joining us today, who I'd like to welcome to the AGM. Michael has a substantial background in serving as a senior policy advisor for a number of Ontario ministries and is NIA's executive director. For those that may not know, NIA is the National Institute on Aging, which is a Ryerson think tank whose mission is to enhance successful aging across the life course and to make Canada the best place to grow up and grow old. Their work efforts are impacting many policy issues affecting older adults. The NIA has been a longtime supporter of life, which included Dr. Samir Sinha, who is NIA's co-chair and director of health policy research, organizing a series of speakers for Life's 25th anniversary 5 or 6 years ago. I'm delighted with the work effort of Life's Partnership Task Force, which resulted in a 3-year partnership agreement with the NIA. And part of this alliance includes sponsoring 2 interns annually, whose work and research will focus on healthy aging, with a final report to be shared and presented to the Life Institute. I'm very excited with all the opportunities this partnership will provide to Life in expanding our role in lifelong learning. And also with the Chang School, our 5-year agreement had ended in August this year. Although with the uncertainty of the timing for any in-person activities, we could collectively have agreed to extend the agreement for another year with some minor modifications. And finally, of course, in volunteer engagement, our volunteers continue to bring their skill sets and talents to the ongoing successful operation and required changes that Life Institute needs to be going through. And of course, we always welcome new members to help for volunteering. So where are we going next along our journey? First and foremost, our priority for the next year remains the same. We are dedicated to staying safely connected to our members to fulfill Life's mission of delivering quality programs and engage our members through a skilled, dedicated team of staff and volunteers while maintaining fiscal responsibility. For the future, our work has started for developing the next strategic plan after 2022. The board members have actively participated in several presentations and planning sessions over the past few months, again, all via Zoom, reviewing the valuable feedback from our members, from instructors and staff, and understanding market forces and the impacts to both online and in-person experiences. 2 themes are emerging so far. First is identifying the infrastructure and investments that are required to operate effectively in a hybrid world where we would be both online and in class. And secondly, supporting new opportunities for all of us, for members to share and care. There's more to be done with working groups to identify broader opportunities to advance life as a leader in lifelong learning, while retaining many of the attributes that have been essential to our members' satisfaction and success. So we remain focused on our mission as we prepare for the next stage in lifelong learning for our members. It has been an honor to have had the opportunity to lead the Life Institute over the past 2 years, and I look forward to its continued evolution and success. So thank you to all members, volunteers, staff for another successful year.
Good evening, everyone. As your executive director, it gives me immense pleasure to report to you on the operations of the Life Institute for the 2020-21 year. Let me start by saying it was another year working with many unknowns and uncertainty as we all continue to cope and manage through these unprecedented times. Through the efforts and support of our volunteers, members, and staff, the Life Institute was able to succeed, as you heard from Milby, despite these challenging times, and continue to align our operations with our 3-year strategic plan, modifying where needed. Owing to the efforts of our dedicated volunteers and staff, the Life Institute produced 4 semesters of courses from July 1st, 2020 to June 30th, 2021, offering a varied selection of 87 online courses reflecting a range of styles and delivery by top talented instructors. In addition to the courses offered, 10 complimentary lectures or events were held for all Life members to enjoy. Added value for being a member. Certain events were held in collaboration with our partner, as Paula had mentioned, the Chang School of Continuing Education programs for 50 plus. A favorite lecture was the one given by sought-out speaker and life member Tom Axworthy on the topic, Choosing the United States of America President. The event was a sellout, 500 attendees. The timing of this special event, if you remember, was just before the November 2020 presidential election. From the emails and comments the office received, this lecture was a huge hit and much appreciated. With the support and approval of your board of directors, led by Chair Milvie Esther, Life embarked on a new digital marketing strategy aimed to increase digital awareness and presence. The Life Institute engaged the company, WSI Digital Direction, to assist us with these efforts. Although this endeavor is still in its preliminary stages, we are starting to attract new members because of our enhanced digital presence and increased reach. Along with working with WSI Digital Direction, Life has increased its presence on the following 4 social media platforms: Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. If you recall, just in this past August and September, Life offered 2 complimentary member special events on an introduction of social media presented by Zoe Bernard. These complimentary events were to assist members who wanted to take a deeper dive into social media as its day-to-day relevancy continues to increase. As we continue to work through this pandemic, the delivery of Life courses is a concern for many of you, if not all. As a reputable organization, the Life Institute takes your health and safety seriously and will never compromise either one. Decisions on our course delivery to date have been made based on recommendations from public health and direction from Ryerson University. Currently, we are sourcing space availability both within Ryerson and alternative off-campus venues to be able to offer you in-class courses once again, possibly for spring. If you recall, Life surveyed its membership in January of this year, and we asked you, looking forward, how would you prefer to attend Life courses? We received 910 responses. 12% answered online, 36% answered in person, and 52% answered a mix of online and in person. It is our goal to be able to offer you both. It is also our hope that we will be able to offer at least a few in-person classes, as mentioned, for the spring semester. Now, please be reminded that our planning cycle takes anywhere from 4 to 6 months. So in order for us to do spring, we have to be starting to make decisions now. Also, I know many are extremely anxious to get back into class, but please also remember the following logistics are needed to be considered, such as space availability, capacity, cost, space ventilation, use of personal lavalier microphones for all instructors, handheld microphones made available to students posing questions to the instructor for all to have the ability to hear when wearing a mask. Are our instructors and class hosts comfortable with in-person class? And the manpower to check vaccine status. Currently, to enter any Ryerson building or off-site venue, you must be double vaccinated. As more information becomes available regarding the opportunity to offer in-person classes, we will definitely be communicating this to you. In appreciation of your loyalty demonstrated by standing by us this past year, your board of directors approved a $20 discount on all spring 2021 courses taken. This gesture was well received by many of you, given the feedback that was provided to us. Volunteers are truly the backbone of this organization. A total of 85 dedicated, and I'll repeat that word because it deserves it, dedicated volunteers, including the board of directors, contributed to the success of the 2021 year. A sincere thank you to each and every one of you for your time and contributions made throughout another difficult and unprecedented year. As for staff, I would like to take this time to share a little bit about each of them. First, our newest member, Yvette Glidden, joined Life as Office Administrator on October 12th, just over 8 weeks ago. Yvette comes to us with over 20 years of office administrative experience. Prior to joining Life, Yvette was the office administrator for the Bata Shoe Museum for 16 years, having had the opportunity to be mentored by the late Sonia Bata. We are extremely pleased to have her on board. Currently in her off work hours, you'll find Yvette at a hockey arena cheering on her two sons in minor hockey. Secondly, Denise Smith. With over 15 years of volunteer management, social work, and human resources experience, Denise has worked with associations providing community services for seriously ill children, women and children fleeing gender violence, the homeless, and our senior population. Denise has a deep respect for Life as a volunteer-led, not-for-profit organization and has been at the Life Institute since 2018 as its manager of volunteer services. In Denise's off hours, you will find Denise enjoying quality time with her adorable 5-year-old son, little Leo. Thirdly, Roseanne Bernard is Life's program manager and has been with Life since 2006. Having worked in the arts, educational, and not-for-profit sectors, as well as marketing, advertising, corporate, environmental design, and customer service spheres. She's also a cyclist, advocate of lifelong learning, art historian, musician, enjoys knitting, and is, in her own words, an unapologetic spreadsheet geek. Tonight, gives me great pleasure that we recognize and celebrate Roseanne for her 15 years of service with the Life Institute. Can we now have Roseanne to the screen and have her family please join her? This is a surprise to Roseanne. Roseanne, would you like to let your family, they're waiting outdoor there just to come in.
They just came in.
So here on behalf of Life, we have the flowers for you. We also have a gift that when I see you in person next week, we will be able to give that to you. So we have some messages from some of the members that have been so lovely to send them in to us. So I want you just to sit back for one moment, all right? And let me tell you all your messages for you. Okay, so we have someone that likes a little poetry here. This is from Charles and Marilyn Wright. How do we thank you, Roseanne? Let us count the ways. We thank you for all these 15 years of dedication. All gestures of our appreciation can reach. We thank you for the little things, the big things we take care of with gentle and effective response to any burning issue in a Life member's mind. Heard, considered, then usually brought to resolution. With grateful appreciation for all that you do and all that you are, Roseanne, you are so appreciated. From Barbara Atlas, it has been special working with you. I remember when it was just you in the office and things just tickled along. It did so because you were capable, efficient, innovative, have a helpful, positive attitude and manner, and did I say a good sense of humor? So pleased that you are part of the Life family. From Paul Hebert, I would like to express my sincere Tada, Rabbah, and Mazel Tov for your years of service to the Life Institute and its members. Your dedication, your abilities, and your sincerity has contributed significantly to the success of the Life Institute, and I wish only good things for you and your family. From Mildy, your unique talents and dedication have been instrumental in Life success. Thank you for your many wonderful years of service. From Martha Wall, 15 years, woo! 15 years of making Life hum, of being Life's face to the world that pre-pandemic streamed into your office to be greeted by warmth, friendliness, charm, and of course, an answer to every question. When a crisis occurred, you solved it. When a complaint arose, you handled it. When someone, whether an instructor or a life member, needed help or attention, you gave it. And always with a large helping of your sense of humor. We're going to hear that over and over. For those of us who interact with you in our capacity as volunteers on various committees, we know firsthand your capacity. We know firsthand your capacity for hard work and good humor. May you be here for another 15 years. We can't imagine life without you. From Eva Bell, congratulations, 15 years. Wow. You've been there for all of us for all those years with your technical expertise, your ability to be succinct, and most of all, your knowledge of what is going on at the Life Institute. Congratulations. Your work is much appreciated. The Life Institute wouldn't have been as successful without you. All the best. And last but not least, from Lauren Bernstein. Congratulations, Roseanne. You have indeed made an enormous contribution to the success of the Life Institute. Looking forward to many more years working with you. Now, Roseanne, this is just a small sampling. In order to surprise you, we all know this because you know what's always going on. We had to keep it quiet so it wouldn't leak out that this is happening. But I'm sure there's many people listening now that would love to say congratulations also, but they will obviously in emails to come. So congratulations. It's a true gift for me to be working with you. And I can't say enough of how much I appreciate you. And I appreciate the family. They've kept it a secret. Zoe's been wonderful. So anyways, congratulations. Now,
Thank you so much.
We do have an AGM still to continue. So I have to put you back to work. My apologies. And we're going to go and finish this off here. All right. Thank you to the family. So in closing, I personally want to thank you, the members, volunteers, the board of directors, and staff for contributing to the overall success of the Life Institute. These last 21 months have not been easy, to say the least. However, and I say this with all sincerity, with your support, your loyalty, and your patience, all of us working collaboratively, we did it. Yay! Now, with adversity, opportunities surface, helping us work together in support of the Life Institute. So I'm confident that we will overcome any hurdles that present themselves as we continue our journey of success. Thank you.
Oh, good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to be able to present the Treasurer's Report for financial year ended June 30, 2021. But before I start, I must congratulate Roseanne on behalf of everyone here. And you've just been a great asset to our organization. In fact, I don't think we'd be here today if you weren't here to guide us. Anyway, on to my report. So the first thing I'd like to speak about is our auditor's report, which is on the next slide. So our auditors are Petty Legion Chang, LLP. They're certified professional accountants. So the main thing about an auditor's report is what happens in the opinion. You'll see in the second paragraph of the opinion, is their stated opinion. And they say, in our opinion, the accompanying financial statements present fairly in all material respects the financial position of the Life Institute as at June 30, 2021, and the results of its operations and its cash flows for the year ended in accordance with Canadian accounting standards for not-for-profit organizations. So that's what we refer to in the business as a clean opinion, an unqualified opinion, and our auditors are quite satisfied with the way we're running our accounts. The report also goes on to talk about the responsibilities of what management is responsible for the preparation and presentation of the statements. And then you can read through it and there's all the things what they have to do in terms of identifying the assets at risk, evaluating internal control, counting policies, and the appropriateness of various estimates we might use. But all in all, they're very pleased, as they said at the opening paragraph. So that's where we're at with the auditors. So now let's turn to the financial statements. And I'd like to start first by taking you to the statement of operations, which is on your screen right now. Our financial year end, as I mentioned, is June 30. And this is the statements for the year ended June 30, 2021. So in the revenue end of things, the top line is course fees. Now, as we moved from in class, starting with the spring semester of 2020 to virtual, our revenues did not keep up because we just didn't have that many people come. Also, I think a lot of people who are partners living together, they would perhaps sign up for a course together, so we would lose one registration, and also we would lose some membership. So for all the reasons, whatever, our course fees are down from the previous year by some 28%. The next line on your revenue is the membership dues. And whereas we finished the financial year ended June 30, 2020, with some 2,640 members, for the year ended in this past June, our membership count at the end of the year was some 1,762 members, and that accounts for the drop in membership. We were able to obtain assistance from the Government of Canada through the Canada Emergency Wage Subsidies. You see the number here is almost 68,000 as opposed to 46,000 in the year before. So all along, we get down to the total of our revenues. We had revenues of some 640,000 as compared to 866 of the previous year. Turning to our expenses, they're displayed here in descending order of magnitude. So of course, our largest expense is the salaries and benefits that go to our excellent staff. And they were actually down a little bit from the previous year. The next line is courses, and we spent some $94,000 on courses, and that is almost exclusively the payment to our instructors who put on the courses in the 2021 year exclusively online by virtual. Now, Milby was talking about our arrangements with Ryerson University. As we'll see, and when we come to note 5, I'll explain how it worked for the 2021 year, but also for the ongoing year, for the year ending this coming June, the next year, June 2022, we've negotiated an all-in fee of some $30,000. And I'll turn to that in a moment. The next thing I want you to point out to you is professional services. That line of $29,509 is made up a lot of things. We have our audit, we have our accounting services for our per diem accountant, which comes once a month to do the month-end closing. We have expenses for our Zoom. We have some expenses for consultants, which Milby mentioned. Actually, Debbie mentioned that we took on some extra things to help grow our revenues, and some other smaller items. All in all, add up to some $29,509. Website is what we pay to community brands to run our website. Office in general is the usual things, telephone, whatever, that we pay to Ryerson. And of course, we have PayPal, which processes our payments for revenue of course fees and for memberships. And that works out to about 2.57 of our of the amount booked. And that's working quite well. We didn't have insurance. So all along, our bottom line down here at the very bottom of the page, we have an excess of revenue or expenses for the year of some 44,000 as opposed to 19,000 in the year before. But I have to point out that a great portion of that came from Canada wage subsidy. So if I exclude the revenue given to us by Canada revenue through Canada wage subsidy, we experienced an excess of expenses over revenue of almost $24,000 as opposed to $27,000 the year before. So we were quite grateful for Government of Canada to kick in this kind of money. But without it, we would have endured an excess of expenses over revenue of some 24,000, as I said, and compared to 27,000 for the preceding year, 2020. The next thing we want to look at is the notes. They're on the screen now. So the first note tells us just a little bit about our organization, that we are incorporated in the province of Ontario, that we are exempt from income tax as we are a registrable charitable organization under the Income Tax Canada Act. Second paragraph tells us a little bit what we stand for. The next note summarizes our significant accounting policies. It talks about our revenue, how we book course fees, how we book memberships, events, which we didn't have any this year, interest income, and contributions, and so on. Note 2, as we'll see when we get to our statement of financial position, we have a very healthy balance invested in cash balances and guaranteed investment certificates. Unfortunately, the yields at this time are not very substantial. They run from 0.20% to 0.75%. We are probably looking at higher interest rates, maybe later on in this year, but definitely in the year to come. Financial instruments sit on the next page. Oh, it's actually on the right here. That's just a statutory note that tells about where we put our money. And then the last note, future commitments, is what I mentioned a little bit earlier and what Milvy was talking about. Up until this the year ended June 30, 2020, we had an arrangement with Ryerson where we share the bottom line. So we paid them a fixed amount plus a 50% share of our excess of revenue over expenses. But for the year that we're now in, we have a fixed fee of some $30,000, and we're working on a new arrangement for the year commencing, which will commence next year on July 1st of 2022. So those are the notes. I'd like to now take you back to an earlier statement, which is our statement of financial position, which is on page 1 of your notes. And here, as I mentioned, we have a very strong financial position. We have cash at some $89,000. We have guaranteed investment certificates of some $480,000. And we have prepaid expenses. Now, prepaid expenses are things like the following. We pay our fee to Ryerson at the beginning of the academic year in September. So throughout the year, we have a prepaid portion of that fee as it's brought into income over the 12 months of our fiscal period. We also have some prepaid insurance in there. And we also prepay our web fees for the community brand. And we also prepay Zoom that gives you all these virtual courses. So that's how we, at this point, at the end of the year, we had some almost $26,000, which will come into income as the year goes on. And we have the normal outstanding current liabilities for operations of about $15,000. So when it's all done, we have unencumbered net assets of some $588,000, of which $13,000 are endowment funds, which are an endowment fund that was set up many years ago, and unrestricted funds of some $575,583. So we have a very strong balance sheet. And as Milvy and Debbie were telling you, the plans for the future, we do have substantial cash position to pursue new initiatives to see if we can get some more revenue generated and put our financial position and our results of operation in a positive state. So those are my comments of the highlights. Do I have any questions or concerns that you would like me to address? No. Roseanne, do we have anything here? I guess not. So well, then I'm
Nothing
now-
was submitted?
Sorry?
No questions, concerns, or anything of the sort were submitted prior to the AGM.
Okay, then I'm ready to make a couple of motions if I could find them. All right, my first motion is I move that the financial statements of the Life Institute for the year ended June 30, 2021 be approved. Do we have a seconder? Well, here's the question. What is it? Oh, I got
The question is why instructor expenses went from 200,000 to 94,000.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
The question is, why did the instructor expenses go down from 200,000 to 94,000?
The reason they went down is we had fewer number of courses. When we were in class, we had courses of smaller number of students, sometimes 25, 30 students. When we went to virtual, which is all of the year we're talking about, we had larger classes, but fewer instructors. So that's why the instructor fees went down. Some of our classes had 65 and 70 students registered. If that were in class, as it were most of 2020, we would have had 2 instructors or maybe 3. So that is why the instructor costs were lower in the 2021 financial year as compared to the 2020.
Thank you. In the interim, let the record show that Philip Wood has seconded the motion, as has Paul Herbert. I will now run the poll. All members, please vote. We have received a sufficient number of votes to pass the motion. The majority has approved, therefore this motion has passed. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Roseanne. And I have another motion. I move that the firm of Penny Legion Chang be appointed the auditors of the Life Institute for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2022, and that the board be authorized to fix the auditor's remuneration. So we need a seconder.
Can we have somebody type into the chat? I second. Barbara Atlas has seconded the motion. Let the record
Thank
show
you,
that Barbara
Barbara.
Atlas
And,
is second.
let's have the vote.
We have received a sufficient number of votes to pass the motion. The majority has approved. Therefore, this motion is passed. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lauren Bernstein, and I am honored to address you this evening as the chair of the nominating committee. The nominating committee has prepared the proposed candidate slate of directors for 2021-2022. Our bylaws read, the board shall be comprised of no fewer than 11 and no more than 13 elected directors, together with 2 ex officio voting directors, being 1 the immediate past chair and 2 1 individual nominated by Ryerson University. We currently have 8 board members, 7 plus 1 ex officio, who will be continuing to fulfill their existing terms, 4 members who are up for renewal, and 2 candidates who will be joining the coming up board of directors. Returning board members, here we go, thank you, are Philip Abrahams, Barbara Atlas, Eva Bell, Harvey Bernstein, Milvie Esther, Vince Farron, Paul Herbert, and Dr. Paula Green. And the next slide, please. Returning board members for renewal and new members include myself, Lauren Bernstein, Sheila Klenman, Angel Mongol, and Rhonda Singer. And next slide, please. Oh, I see it's up there, sorry. And coming on to the board for a 3-year term is Susan Mackle, and for a 1-year term, Alan Levine. And now to the motion. Whereas a nominating committee has duly met and determined a slate of board candidates based on competencies required by the board to function effectively, I move that the slate of nominees for the board of directors for 2021-2022 as proposed by the nominating committee be approved. And if we could have a seconder.
Let the record show that Nan Weiner has seconded the motion. I will now launch the poll. We have received enough votes to pass the motion. The majority have approved. Therefore, this motion has passed. Thank you.
Thank you. Before I return the screen back to, I believe, Milvie, I just want to take a brief moment to thank the committee consisting of Eva Bell, Virginia Bosworth, and Judith Gallant. Just a wonderful working committee, really approaching this in the responsible manner in which it needed to be addressed. And I also would like to take the opportunity to thank Deborah Bon Greenwood and Milvie for their support during the process. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Lauren. Now your report. And now we'd like to take the opportunity to thank some of our outgoing board members for their commitment to Life Institute. First of all, Janice Winton, she joined Life's board 2 years ago and served as its treasurer in the past year. Her financial experience and leadership, especially with the new guidelines and reportings that were required to be managed during the pandemic environment, resulted in a successful oversight of Life's budgets and financial stability. So thank you, Janice, and I appreciate her willingness to serve on the board, given her many personal commitments. And then we have Virginia Bosworth. So Ginny served as the board chair, which I'm sure everyone knows Ginny, for 6 years as board chair, and then served on the board as the past chair for the last 2 years. During her tenure as chair, Life experienced significant growth in membership and financial success, as you saw. She's been integral to the Life Institute with the important advances that have been made, particularly transitioning the board to a governance board. Certainly not an easy task. So Ginny, I want to say thank you for bringing your passion, your intellect, your insight, your experience and resources to the table. While Ginny may be stepping down from the board, she continues to be ready and willing to participate in activities involving the Life Institute. So a small token of appreciation is forthcoming to both of them. So thank you for all of your services and your continued participation. Okay, now for the next slide, we did not receive any questions that were requested in advance. So we'll then continue to the adjourning our meeting. So this wraps up our 2021 AGM. I want to thank all of us for joining us today, and a big thank you for all the staff that helped put this together. And we look forward to working with all of you in the new year. So I wish everyone a healthy and safe holiday season. Good night.